Just click this. Okay, welcome to our Mindset Monday. Of course, another Monday here where we are in the No Nonsense series. And today we're going to be talking about habits, all right? Our book of the month. Who's got our book of the month? It is Atomic Habits. Have you started reading it yet? Let me know in the chat box. Excellent. I can see, who's that? Donna, I can see yours, Donna. Brilliant. So, we're really looking at this month, no nonsense, okay? No nonsense when it comes to our goals, when it comes to the environments we're in, when it comes to the behaviors that we put out. And of course, with our book of the month being Atomic Habits, we'd be crazy if we didn't go through, no nonsense when it comes to having the right habits. And so I'm going to get straight into this, guys, and I want you guys to, keep connecting with me in the chat box so I know we still have time to share the Zoom, anybody that may need this. And I think that we're going to get some revelation from this. Hopefully we'll be able to get through it today. If not, we'll bring it forward next week as well. It's fabulous to see you guys. So when we're talking about habits are, what are habits, guys? Talk to me in the chat box. I've heard so many definitions of people saying, a habit is formed in a certain amount of time. A habit is if you do it long enough, it becomes a habit. And I tend not to agree. I don't believe that if you do something for, I think it's say 12 weeks or whatever it is that they say, because how many of us have ever been focused on gym? We lose the weight, we get the result that we want, and then we go all the way back to our very first state. So I'm not particularly a fan of that definition. And I think a habit is a choice. I think a habit is a choice that we choose to do on a consistent basis. Something that you do autopilot. Yeah, I like that definition. It's something that we do autopilot. It's something that can change. Can a habit change? Can you change your habits? Or is a habit something that you're stuck with for life? A habit is a non-negotiable. I like that. What else? Feel free to type in the chat box. I believe that habits absolutely can change. I believe that we can control our habits. Is it easy? Absolutely not. But I think there's ways in which we really need to understand the habits that we have, both from a physical level and also from a spiritual level. Now, some of us have routines as habits. So we wake up at a certain time. We do certain things when we get up, make our bed, brush our teeth, shower, whatever, make breakfast, get in the car. Some of us have, things that have happened over the last few years form a habit. And all habits literally are, ladies and gentlemen, very simply is things that we do on a consistent basis. We perform regularly or practice a routine. Yes, I like that. And you can, Danielle, you can learn and unlearn habits. And I think the very most important thing is to understand, what that habit is, what's the outcome of that habit? Is it something that is allowing me to achieve what it is I want to achieve? Or is it something that is holding me back? Is that habit been formed for me to grow, or does that habit make me stay in my comfort zone? Now, I know you guys are very experienced when it comes to mindset, so I'm not going to break down, growth mindset, on this call, but a lot of us have already studied, the different types of mindsets that we can have, and we all aim to go down the growth mindset route. We don't want to be stuck. We don't want to be in a place where we are stagnant. We also understand that when you are not growing, you're actually dying. And so it's very important that we remain in a state of growth. And so it's emotional intelligence 101 to be able to analyze and assess the behaviors that we have in the form of habits, to be able to understand if those specific behaviors are supporting the outcomes that we want for our life, or if they are holding us back or stopping or blocking those outcomes. And I think we can all agree that we have formed some very good habits over the years, and we have also formed some habits that maybe we want to develop, demolish, or grow. Okay, habit can be something that's hard to give up. And I think, it's about perspective. It definitely is about perspective, because we choose the hard, right? And we decide exactly what it is that we want out of life. Now, nothing worth doing, I think, is easy. I think that once we have a made up mind and once we put ourselves in position to, you know, get to a place where we decide what we want, then we can form the habits alongside that. A habit is anything that is repeated automatic, e.g. smoking, right? And again, habits have effects, habits have outcomes. And again, some of us have habits that we know have bad outcomes or not outcomes that we would want for our life, but we continue to do it. How many of us have, you know, said we're going to quit smoking or quit drinking or go to bed earlier or not link that ex or not link that guy or not do this or not do that? Come on now. You said to yourself, the red flags are there, but you still find yourself talking to him. You said to yourself, you want to, you know, lose that weight, but you still keep putting that chocolate in your mouth. You said to yourself that that friend is not good for you, but in desperate times, in low seasons, they're the only one that picks up the phone. So you continually put yourself in that environment. You know that the finances budget is where it is, but you still slap it on the credit card, or you still tell yourself life is too short, so I'm just going to do it anyway. And some of the things, you know, that happen when it comes to forming our habits is how we speak to ourselves and the standard that we have for ourselves, and the, you know, the way that we have the outlook that we have on life and the outlook that we have for ourselves. And, you know, the bottom line is, and I had to say this to myself the other day, like, Nikki, are you really happy with you know, your weight? Are you happy with the weight that you've put on? Are you happy with the weight that you've lost? You know, how much further do you want to go? You know, you talk about goals and you talk about where it is you want to be, but, you know, are you really focused on where it is that you say you want to be? Like, we have to have these honest conversations with ourselves. I will tell you this, and I want you to write this down before we look at 7 bad habits, health habits. Okay, we're going to look at health habits. 7 of them, 7 bad health habits that, you know, we need to break. But I want you to you know, to write this down. And it is about having an honest conversation with yourself. Okay, habits are formed by the way that we speak to ourselves. Habits are formed by the way that we set a standard for ourselves. So the habits that I have tolerated those. I have set those habits. This is nobody else's, you know, this is nobody else can claim, or nobody else can get the blame, okay, for the habits that I've created in my life. And the first thing about understanding the habit is also taking ownership of that habit. What has been the circumstances why these habits are put in place? And, you know, we could talk about, you know, working so hard, so busy, so haven't had the time to cook proper food, so picked up McDonald's on the way home. These are all habits that are formed based on the way that we live. And really good habits are formed when they are fit around the lifestyle that we have. And we're going to get onto, you know, goals around our habits a little bit later. And as you carry on reading the book, you're going to see some of the tips, you know, suggested inside the book. But one of the things I will say to you guys is this. People ask me all the time, like, Nikki, you consistently show up. I don't go on social media. I don't see you. You know, you turn up every Monday. You are somebody that consistently shows up. That is a part of my brand. You know, the habits that you have will form your brand. They're good or bad, right? And when people ask me, like, Nikki, how have you been able to be so consistent? I say this, and I'll tell you this as well. I would rather, right? I would rather the sacrifice of having a good brand and, you know, good consistency than having the outcome, okay, all right, and the pain of people looking at me like, okay, she's not practicing what she preaches. I would rather the pain of doing the work so I get a good brand and have the outcomes that I want than have the ease and the lack of sacrifice, but still not have the brand that I want. I want to let you know right now that everything is a choice. Okay, when you win in one area, you lose in another area. So if you win because you eat the chocolate and you enjoy the chocolate, you lose in the weight. You lose in your weight goals, right? Now, if you win in the weight goals, you lose that pleasure that you would have had when it comes to eating that chocolate cake. Are you guys happy with where we're at right now? So this is around understanding, why do I want to form good habits? Someone type in the chat box, what would motivate me, or what's the outcomes of me forming really good habits for myself? Is it something I can say, oh, do you know what? I don't care. Life is too short. Let me eat what I want. Let me do what I want. I need to be consistent. What's going to be some of the outcomes when we really begin to form some really good habits? Now, at the moment, we're talking physical stuff, okay? So this is all about, you know, the behaviors, the actions, and the things that we do on a day-to-day basis. But we are going to go on to the spiritual in a moment, and I'm going to show you the link between the two and why it's so important, you know, to have both good habits physically as well as spiritually. Better and healthier lifestyle. Absolutely. We will be healthier. We will get better outcomes. You know, for those of you that are business people on the call, you will, when you form good habits business-wise, you will get more customers. Your business will grow. Good habits will allow me to be the best version of myself daily. Absolutely. Self-discipline. And what comes with self-discipline? More results, better outcomes. You know, you feel better, you look better, you know, you're able to, you know, be more productive. So it's so important that we understand that, guess what? When I feel like things are not going the right way, I can take a look at some of my habits and I can say exactly why that situation is happening. Maybe you didn't do what you said you were going to do. Maybe you wasn't consistent at a particular thing, right? How many of us have ever said we're going to do something, we do it for 3 days, and then it drops off by the wayside? You know, we make these commitments and we're just not consistent because we fall back in to the old habit. You can write this down. It's called the rubber band effect. Okay. Now the rubber band principle, there's two ones I want to teach you. The rubber band principle talks about stretching your habits. Okay. Stretching your goal, stretching what you would normally do. And what the rubber band principle suggests is that once you stretch yourself, okay, even if you redress back a little bit, you can't go right. If you don't keep stretching yourself, what's going to happen is you will go right back to your comfort zone. You're going to go right back to your original state. Okay. And we can stretch ourselves for a time being. How many of you have ever got a goal to get married or go on holiday and you stretch yourself, you bang out that gym every day and you do what you need to do to fit into that outfit? And once you've come back from holiday, or even whilst you're on holiday, you're like, well, the holiday's here now. I eat what I want, drink what I want, and you go right back. You come back heavier. You may even come back and you start eating things and you're bigger than you were before you even started the diet. And that is because that habit wasn't formed with the right mindset. The habit was formed for a short-term indicator, which was that, that holiday. And that's fine if that's what you want. But I think that real good habits, lifestyle changes, real good habits are things that are for a consistent basis that get you long-term results where you can feel good about yourself all the time and not just for a specific reason. So 7 bad habits that we want to break when it comes to our health. The first one, guys, you'd be surprised about this, but it's sitting too much. I've been guilty of this. Anybody working in an office, I drive everywhere, I work from home, and it could be a really, really a habit that we've just got used to, sitting in the bed with the laptop, sitting on the couch with the laptop, sitting at the desk with your PC, driving everywhere. Why is this dangerous, guys? Research shows that prolonged sitting over a long period of time actually increases your risk of, obesity, of course, diabetes, cancer, so many health problems when you just sit down for too long, like constant sitting down too much. And, it's so bad that, we're in this kind of society now where everything's working from home and remote working. But what ends up happening is we end up not stretching our legs, not going where we need to go. And we become in this routine. I found myself, just coming out of the pandemic situation, and when people were messaging me like, hey, can we link up, I'd automatically go, what, online? They're like, no, for real, like in person. And it took me a while to be like, oh, do we have to? Can we not just do it on Zoom? Like, we get to a point where we don't want to go out the house. We don't want to meet people. It's too much of an effort. Like years ago, that was standard. You would get up and you'd go meet someone. You'd meet at a coffee shop, or you'd go and meet people. You'd go out. You'd go to family functions. You'd enjoy meeting your cousins at grandma's house. You would love doing this stuff. And over the years, we're like, oh, can we meet on Zoom? We make excuses. Oh, I've got the kids, or I've got this, I can't get out. Guys, I want you to write this down. Make a commitment to yourself to get outside. Sitting at your desk all day is a problem. It's a big health risk, right? It is a big problem. Guys, I tell you this, there was one point where I was just in my bed. And I've got an amazing husband. He's bringing me up food. He's doing the work, you know. And one day he had enough. He was like, how long are you going to sit in this bed? Right? They're putting on the pounds. You're sitting down in the bed. Get outside. So how can we stop this? How, like, what are some of the things, and you guys can, you know, drop your suggestions inside the box. How can we get more mobile? How can we get outside? First thing I'd say, right, and it sounds so crazy, but set yourself a timer. Set an alarm on your phone, right? Maybe like, I don't know, in increments. So, you know, one of the things I tend to do, especially if I've got calls or whatever, is I'll set my phone. So when it comes like half an hour, an alarm comes on, I know I've been sitting there for half an hour, I got to get up and stretch my legs. But sometimes, you know, if Anton's not here, when Anton's here, it's like, get up and go stretch your legs, man. You've been sitting down for way too long, right? So set yourself some goals. When you sit down, look at the time, set an alarm, ask yourself, you know, how long have I been sitting here for? Especially like those of you, I know none of you guys on here watch TV or sitting down watching Netflix all day, but you know, some of them people that just sit down watching Jeremy Kyle and they're watching all these things from morning till night. They have a whole regime. When I was, you know, when I was working 9 to 5, and when I used to have annual leave and stuff, I used to get like 2 weeks off. And let's say I was home for the first week, I had a schedule of all the TV programs that I was going to watch at each time as well. And especially in the evening, it went from like Emmerdale to Coronation Street. No, I rewind that. It went to the game shows at like 4 after, you know, what was it? You had, what was that program? You had one of these programs. I love game shows, isn't it? So it was one of the game shows, and they're on like from 4 or 5, 4 game shows. And then you've got you have Tipping Point, and then you had the countdown, and then you know everything that's coming after, and then you have, you know, you might have a bit of Family Fortunes in the evening, and you might have what's the other one with the box? Remember the box one? Banker with the box. What was it called? You had the Chase as well. That was later on in life. You got the Chase coming out, Catchphrase, and you have all these programs lined up because you know that you're going to be sitting there from at least, what's the box one? When you open the box, what's it called? The red box, Deal or No Deal. There we go. You got Deal. I know, Jen, you don't watch television, of course not, right? And you had the Deal or No Deal, and then you'd move into the new. You had an hour because it would be news. It'd be boring, so you could fix up your house or do, you know, the kids' food, whatever, and then you come back ready. 7 o'clock Emmerdale, then 7:30 Coronation Street, then 8 o'clock EastEnders, and then after that it'd be your second dose of Coronation Street. Back in the day, it used to be The Bill. Who remembers The Bill? Right? And then you're watching that. And then maybe if you're really back in the day, you had Brookside. And then you might have had Sunset Beach. And literally by the time you look, you've been sitting there watching TV. But and the young people won't understand what I'm talking about. Casualty. Oh my God. Yes. And then you had your Saturday regime. And by the time you look, ladies and gentlemen, you have sat there. You're showing your age now. I know, right? You sat there for a long time watching television. I know none of you guys watch TV, but you may have that thing that gets you sitting down. Maybe your thing now is scrolling on IG, okay? Because back in my day, we didn't have IG. We had TV, right? But you may have you know, you may have IG, you may be a content junkie where you're just sitting there just doing work all day, like whatever that thing is. So we've got set an alarm. You could even have like, you know, some people have like their smartwatches or like a fitness tracker where you actually monitor your steps. It's a good way to, you know, especially if you're a target driven person like I am. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't do as much as yesterday. You could set your steps so that you can actually get yourself more mobile. Also as well, physical activity. What are the physical things that I've put in place? Netball, I now go twice a week. There's some physical things that you could do to get yourself moving on a day-to-day basis. You know, someone says I'll go for a 30-minute walk Monday to Friday mornings. My watch tells me, yes, when you're sitting too long, walk more, dance, go up and down the stairs, step count, home workout. There's so much. I used to have a Wii. Who had Wii Fit? I used to do that all the time, and I realized I'd stopped doing that. It seemed not to be popular anymore. Second bad habit, snacking. Oh my God, I'm really hitting the nerves now. How many, we can talk about this all day. I'm not even gonna go there, whether it's popcorn, whether it is, and you tell yourself that's the healthy snack, whether it's biscuits, chocolate, cheese. Maybe it's the time of your month and you're like crisps, cheese and onion, Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop. Then you've got all the cakes and the, it's crazy. We had the women's retreat and none of our snacks were touched because we were just well full. Thank God. Otherwise, people would definitely be, having conversations with me. But snacking in itself is actually not necessarily a bad thing. It's just when it's done out of proportion. Do you know what I mean? It's good to have snacks. Oh my God, cashew nuts. Don't even start talking about nuts. Cashew nuts, salt ones, and the caramelized ones. Oh, mighty, the honey glazed cashews. Oh, it's a good thing that they're not too cheap, because some of us, we ain't gonna buy them every week. But I tell you something, cashew is one of my go-tos. But it is dangerous. Why? Because most of these snacks are high in salt. Most of these snacks are not good, whether it be sugar. I'm a sweetie junkie. Haribos, give me Haribo all day, every day. Snickers, Bounty, Twirl. Oh my God, Twirl. What's the other one? Flake. Yeah, we're about that life. I can literally eat that all day, every day. But I've had to tell myself, no. Small plug, you don't know, we also have the Crave as well, but we ain't going to go there today. But yeah, there has to be some things that we put in place. First thing is, watch your portions. I sat and like, don't sit there and watch yourself heat old packets. Pour things into little bowls, and when that's finished, tell yourself there's no more, right? There's no more. Make sure you're looking at your portion sizes, because I tell you this, guys, portion sizes are the things that's going to help control that weight loss and keep yourself healthy as well. High cholesterol, all these things that snacks can potentially make us, do. Another tip is having substitutes for snacks. I've actually been doing this recently. Fruit, yogurt, yeah. So rather than having, the crisps and all of that, you know what I found? I never used to like it years ago, but I do now. Celery sticks. But here's the thing, the celery sticks is all good, but when you're dipping it in that, it kind of defeats the purpose. But yet, find healthier things to snack on, guys. Also as well, another tip that I've only learned recently was to drink water first before you snack, because, that can really help as well. Also as well, distract yourself from eating. Have you ever been too busy to eat? Sometimes you got to tell yourself, it's a mind thing. When you tell yourself that you need a snack, sometimes you don't. Apple and peanut butter is meant to be good. Well, peanut butter for me, yeah, that's the one. I love the peanut butter. Peanut butter cannot be healthy. I don't know if I'm making that up, but I can't see peanut butter being healthy. Maybe healthier, actually. All right, third bad habit is eating too much sugar. Eating too much sugar. A high sugar diet is obviously associated with a higher risk of heart disease. These things can really be bad for us. Nikki's coming on thick with this today, isn't it? You guys are like, yo, Nikki, you coming in thick today. It is. It brings on heart disease. Sometimes in order to destroy and break the yoke of a bad habit, you got to tell yourself the worst case scenario. You got to say these things to yourself, because this is what's going on. Every time you want to pick that thing up, me, ice cream. I love an ice cream, guys. And every time you want to pick up something, you can say to yourself, listen, anything to do with too much sugar, let me give you the list. The list of too much sugar, higher risk of heart disease, liver disease, kidney disease, cancer, diabetes. These things give you a higher chance, a higher risk of catching this stuff. Who would want kidney disease and all of that? None of us. So, it's very important, that we really focus on reducing the amount of sugar that we're taking into our bodies on a high level. There are some things as well. I researched this. Let me have a look. Hold on. I'll tell you. There are some things that we don't know really has a lot of sugar in, but they do. They have hidden sugars in. So you've got things like tomato ketchup, salad dressings, pasta sauces, even crackers, guys. You guys think crackers, just the normal crackers, they actually have sugar in them, even though you don't expect it because you can't taste it. Pizza as well, mighty God, right? So again, we shouldn't be having more than 24 grams as women, which is 6 tablespoons like a day. Can you imagine? 6 tablespoons of sugar maximum a day for women and 9 for men. And I know some of us are definitely way above that, right? Reach for fruit, sweeten, the food yourself with like yogurt and other different things, apple sauce, all different types of stuff that's going to make us a lot more healthier. 4th bad habit, almighty, here we go, drinking too much. How many of you like alcohol? I know nobody on here. Do you know that it says a glass of wine is fine, okay, with dinner, but excessive drinking, right, can bring forward high blood pressure, heart condition. It can also, do you know that drinking too much can also bring on depression, anxiety, sleepiness, and also weaken the immune system. This is something I learned when I was studying with somebody who specialized in this area, and I was like, okay, cool. That's something that's important. On a side note, champagne is the lowest calorie. Not that I'm promoting drinking champagne, but it's the lowest calorie alcohol that you can drink. See that red wine that you're drinking, those beers that you're drinking. You've heard of the beer belly stuff. You know, so tips on when it comes to alcohol. You want to have alcohol-free days. Okay. Also set a goal. Some people say I only drink on a weekend, or I only have a glass with my dinner, or, you know, stuff like that. Know and limit yourself to a specific amount of alcohol per week. Pace yourself as well. Slip slowly. Like some people will be drinking fast. You finish your drink before everyone else is drinking slowly. I'm a fast drinker. So I'm like, finish. I'm ready for a top up, and people still ain't finished their drink. So slow your roll in it. Take your time. Change your routine as well. If you find that you always drink at a certain time, or you always drink after a certain thing, if you can change your routine, then that will also help. Number 5, another bad habit that you wouldn't believe has a massive effect on your health is not enough sleep. Ladies and gentlemen, a lack of sleep has been linked to so many health problems: obesity, type 2 diabetes, poor mental health, high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke. Sleeping is very, very, very important, guys. Very important. All right. How do you make sure that you get good sleep? You know, this is all about your habits. You know, the habits that you form before you go to your bed. Are you somebody that, you know, do you like to wind down? Maybe you start to wind down earlier. You know, you somebody that has a routine that maybe you go shower and then that gets you into bed. Is it a hot chocolate, or what is it? Not hot chocolate, you're minty, peppermint, whatever it is that you have. Can you bring that routine a little bit earlier? You know, insomnia, sleep deprivation. You know, I've never been one to promote, you know, going to, you know, get these sleep tablets, because I know you can be hooked on them. Of course, you know, those of us that are with the company, you know, we have the sleep spray, which is completely natural, but you can also go to like your doctor and get prescriptions and stuff. Don't sit there without sleeping properly and think it's normal. It really isn't normal, guys. Like, you must sleep. Sleeping is very, very important. Sometimes as well, what we do is we can't sleep and we stay in the bed. Sometimes it's better to get out the bed when you can't sleep and then get back in when you're tired. And that may sound like crazy, but it's actually a psychological trick for your body, that you can, you know, get up so that you're not in the bed when you're not sleeping. Because psychologically, what you're doing is telling yourself, oh my God, I can't sleep. I'm struggling to sleep, blah, 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 blah. And also as well, have a schedule. Tell yourself, I'm not going to touch my phone after this time. I'm literally going to bed, right? But generally, if anyone does have any issues when it comes to sleep, I do have a sleep product that is healthy, natural, and it really helps you to sleep. Lack of sleep shows with bags under the eyes as well. I tell you, girl, you know, there was a season where I couldn't sleep at all, stressed. Like, find out why you're not sleeping as well. Like, what's the root cause? What are you worried about? Is it something that's in your control? Is it something that's not in your control? You know, sometimes we stress over things that we can't do anything about, and getting no sleep isn't going to help that situation. And so it's so important to, you know, get to the root cause of why you're not sleeping, and seeing how you can, you know, change diet to help with that, on, you know, certain things that we have to do. Number 6 is taking too many medications. This is another thing that I've seen, you know, there's some people, and it's not for everyone, but I've seen some people that are just hooked on taking all these medications, you know, when it comes to certain things. Do you know a lot of medications out there, you can actually get the same result using natural, healthy, like, food. You can get vitamin C from food. You can get certain things. If you're taking a combination, like, you know, of medication that's not like for your, you know, medical condition or whatever, I would really have a look at what it is that you're taking, because, you know, a lot of the things you can get in food as well. And some people are actually hooked on taking this stuff. Like, one of my friends, her cabinet is filled. None of it is prescribed. It's just all this obsessiveness over all these medications. And, you know, sometimes, you know, those things can actually mess you up as well. There's certain medications that can give you constipation. There's certain medications that can make you feel, you know, extra tired and stuff like that. And believe it or not, number 7, what's bad for your health, okay, this is a big one, guys, and you probably don't know this, is worrying. Do you know that worrying too much is actually very dangerous for your health? It puts your body in a constant fight or flight mode. It makes you anxious, and obviously that spikes up your heart rate, okay? It also raises your blood pressure. It creates, what they call it, inflammation. Worrying is something that can literally mess with your physical health in a way that some of us don't understand. Because it's a spiritual thing, we don't necessarily see the effects that it has on our body. Have you ever seen someone that's so stressed they lost weight? I remember when my baby father left me, I was so stressed. I went through a size 6. I looked unhealthy. I looked so unhealthy. And people were like, well, how come you've lost the weight? And it wasn't the fact that I wasn't eating, because I wasn't eating as much, but it was the fact that I was so stressed. I was worrying myself to death. And sometimes we have to really understand that, you know, if I worry about this thing, is it helping or is it hurting me even more? Right? Worrying is something that is very, very bad for our health. And we got to get to a place where we can understand, okay, how do we counteract these, you know, 7 you know, things that can, you know, effectively mess us up. Now, think about it, guys. Out of the 7 things, I want you to put in the chat, which one do you think you got to work on? I mean, for me, mine's most of them. Like, I got to work on most. I've been working on them. I've been, you know, really analyzing myself to say, you know what, I got to form some better health habits, because, you know, my husband's always telling me, you know, Nikki, you know, you're fine now, but I don't want us to get in our 60s and I'm having to carry you. Like, he's just so selfish, you know, he's thinking about himself. He's like, I don't want to have to carry me. He don't have to be like, let's go somewhere. And I got my knee problems. I got back problems. He's like, listen, we need to make sure that we get ourselves in a place where we're staying healthy now. He's very health conscious, and he's right? He's so right, because you don't feel it now, ladies and gentlemen. You feel it later on in life. And here's the thing. How you do anything is how you do everything. Nikki's about to flip it on its head right now. So if you are somebody that is constantly overeating, I bet you it's linked to a lack of in some area of your life. So you're eating so much because you're worried. You're eating so much because you have a spirit of procrastination and you cannot be bothered to get up and cook. And the reason why you cannot be bothered to get up and cook is because you don't love yourself enough to put the best things in your body, because you don't believe that you can do it. You can put it off for tomorrow. You can put it off for another day. You have no real incentive. Maybe you don't believe that you can get that man. Maybe you don't believe that you are worthy to eat that food. You know, we had the retreat and the ladies were eating caviar and they ate really well. And they were like, oh my God, like, Nikki, you've exposed our palates to something that I didn't really realize that I needed. I didn't really realize that, you know, I wanted it. And sometimes what we don't know, right? And so we think, oh, I'm always doing it like this, so this is why I'm going to do it. How many of us have got into a place that your physical habit is related to your spiritual habit? I want you to understand that. So how you behave physically is a direct correlation to the thoughts that you have in your mind. So I realized that I was sitting down too much, and that's because the spirit was lazy. Oh, somebody ain't ready for that today, right? If my husband called me lazy, I'd have been vexed. I'd be like, who are you calling lazy? I'm not lazy, I'm working. Get all defensive and that. The truth is, your spirit is lazy. Why is your spirit lazy? Because you don't have an incentive to get up. You don't have an incentive because you don't believe that you really want to get to that next level. You believe that you do it next year. You have a spirit of procrastination. You have a spirit where you're complacent. Remember, good is the enemy of great. So you've formed that habit and you've told yourself it's okay. If you didn't tell yourself it was okay, you'd be doing something about it. But the fact is, you told yourself it's okay. Your subconscious is like, yeah, it's cool. I'll just sit here. I'll wake up at 11 because I don't have an alarm clock. You know, this saying, when you're self-employed or when you have a business and you're a business owner, I get up when I want to. I don't have to have an alarm like the 9 to 5. Some of us need to go back to that 9 to 5 mentality so we can get ourselves moving, because it's that spirit of no one can tell me what to do. No one can, I'm my own boss. How are you doing with that? How well do you really boss yourself? Because the first person you got to boss is yourself. And so when you look at the physical habit, you got to go back and say, well, what's the spiritual habit that's lack of in this season? What's the spiritual habit in this whole cycle of the reason why I don't get out of bed early, in the reason why I'm not going to my bed on time, in the reason why I keep putting myself in environments I shouldn't be in, the reason why I keep allowing those people to use me, the reason why I keep getting myself in an environment where I know I have no business being in, the reason why I fail to invest in myself, the reason why I keep telling myself I'm not going out, the reason why I say to myself, I'll just keep myself to myself, I don't need people, I don't want to be around people. But then you self-sabotage because then you say you really do want to get married. Hold up now, how that makes sense? I don't do people. I don't want to be in the room. I can't physically. I'm too lazy to get up. I'm too tight with myself to pay for something. I don't want to invest in myself. I don't want to invest no time in myself. I don't want to invest no money in myself. I won't do my hair. I won't buy myself a dress. Have you ever met those people that are so mean to themselves? They will not buy themselves anything. They tell themselves they have no money. And the same £30 that they spend eating, they could have bought themselves a new dress. The same £50 that they spent on alcohol, they could have went and got their hair done. Do you know that some of us, we tell ourselves so many lies to stay in the habit that we have that hurts us? Some of the habits that we have are hurting us, and we've sat and we've accepted them because we don't believe that we deserve any better. We don't love ourselves enough. We don't believe that we're good enough. How many of you on this call have ever felt like, I really want to be there, but they look like they have it all figured out. I don't even think I fit in that room. I don't even think I'll be, I saw one of my friends at an event on the weekend, and she was like, I don't really do people. I don't socialize. I said, girl, you have a business. You are a networker. You are a socializer. Crop failure. Don't even say that out of your mouth. She's like, you're right. I'm a social butterfly. And straight away, she said it out of her mouth. She began to speak to people. And the first couple of people that we spoke to, famous people from television, it was like, oh my God, you do this. I actually need this. And boom, there was a connection there. It was like a textbook training that was happening right in front of my eyes. The way we speak to ourselves will form the habits that we have. The habits that you have that are lifting you up right now and tearing you down right now are the habits you've formed by the standards that you've set over your life. So you told yourself it's okay to be a size 18. You've told yourself it's okay to be eating all those sugars. You told yourself it's okay to live in that house that you live in. You've told yourself that it's okay to sleep in till 11 o'clock on a Saturday because it's the only day I get off and I can do. You've manipulated yourself to believe in the thing. You've told yourself, oh, I'll only go hairdressers once a month or once every 2 months. Because you believe you don't deserve it. You believe that is outside of what you deserve. So what we have to do is reframe the mind, reframe the habits, understand the root cause of those poor habits, and then break them one by one. So how do we break the habits? It is all going to be done in the spiritual world. I'm going to give you 7 disciplines, guys, that you can use to change and break their habit, right? 7, right? Real simple stuff. And I want to tell you this right now, that if you apply some of this stuff and you get this into your routine, it's going to change your life, right? First one, right? Devotion. Morning. I do not leave my bed, guys. I don't leave my bed before I have a devotional. It's just not done. What are you reading? What are you listening to when you wake up in the morning? A devotional. These are spiritual. What I'm going to share with you guys are spiritual disciplines to get your mind in the right place. The mindset of gratitude, the mindset of, okay, I can get up, the mindset of where, you can really pour into yourself. I spoke to some of the ladies earlier and we were talking about how, you set your routine in the morning. Most things are already set in place by your morning routine. I can tell how successful you are by your morning routine. What's your morning routine look like? Mine, devotional. You understand your word. That's just me. I'm unapologetic about it. Whatever you believe, you believe. But I'll tell you this now, I got to understand my word. I got to know the word for me for that day. The same way I have to bathe my skin every day is the same way I need the word inside me every day. Unapologetic. You asked me the secret sauce, guys. I put a post on my Instagram last week. Someone, what's the secret sauce? What's the secret sauce? The secret sauce is the Holy Spirit. I tell you that straight up, all day, every day. Listen, me and you could be doing the same thing all day. But you see the difference between why I'm going to get results and you won't? I got the Holy Spirit in me all day, every day. You walk different when the Holy Spirit's in you. You talk different when the Holy Spirit's in you. Your confidence is different when the Holy Spirit is in you. When you get up after you've been in serious prayer, when you've had your devotion, when you're thinking about life from a space of gratitude, people ask me, why are you so confident, Nikki? How do you get your confidence? How are you so consistent? When I read my devotion and it's telling me about myself and reminding me who I am and reminding me that to set these good habits and reminding me why I have to be who it is. I'm going to tell you something now, guys, and it's going to blow your mind. The mission and the vision and the purpose over your life is only for you, right? 7-8 billion people in this world, and you're the only one with the fingerprint that you have. That means you're unique. That means you're special. That means that you were formed for a reason. Now, you guys all hear it. You know it. Inside out, you were formed for a purpose. You've heard it all before. You know that before you were formed, the purpose was already there. We spoke about it. The chair was formed in someone's mind before the chair was there, where the person already thought about the reason why the chair was being made, because it was there for people to sit on. So before the chair was there, the purpose for the chair was created in the mind. Someone said, we need something to sit on. And so therefore the chair was created, and then people sat on it. When people sat on it, that's not when it had its purpose. It had its purpose prior to it was even an existence as a chair. It was in the thought process where the purpose of the chair was originally created. Oh, you guys ain't getting this. But here's the thing. Some of you are called to serve. Some of you are called to pour into people. Some of you are coaches, mentors, leaders. Some of you do so much. Your purpose is connected to someone, right? But here's the thing, you don't appreciate it. You don't understand it. That's why you play so small. You don't understand how big you are. You don't understand how big the purpose on the inside of you is. So you play small. You lax. You just let it happen. You think, okay, when I get more money, more time, more skill, more this, when I get this, I'm going to do it. But let me tell you this, put a 7 in the chat if you've ever had someone come to you and say, oh my God, thank you so much. Your word, your post, your story has blessed me. Put a 7 in the chat if someone has ever come to you and said, oh my God, if it wasn't for you, that really opened my mind. You really spoke to me. You really, that thing that you did, that thing that you did, it really helped me, right? And so you've taken that lightly. You're like, okay, cool, whatever. You took that lightly, because if you didn't take it lightly, you really understand that feedback that person has given you is an inkling. It is a clue to the purpose over your life. And so when people say, you say, oh yeah, it's God, this is God in me, God knew, the Holy Spirit knew to talk to you, and you just take it lightly. So I'm going to reverse engineer it for you right now. And this is gonna hit you like a ton of bricks. And I want it to hit you guys. I want it to hit you, not brick by brick. I want it to hit you like a ton of bricks. Okay. Are you guys ready for it? So you get this feedback all the time from these people, and they're telling you, you've really blessed their hearts and you've really helped them. And it doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't even move you, because you think, oh, it's not really me. They've got what they got. And I want you to say yes in the chat if you understand that person who gave you that feedback, it blessed them enough for them to tell it to you. Yes? It blessed them enough for them to come back and give you that feedback. There was something in them that said they had to give you the feedback. That means that what you imparted in them, what you put inside that person, it could have shifted the way that they perceive life to make them go on and live the life that they desire. You guys have heard it. Someone's waiting for you to live your life so they can live theirs. We all heard that before. But I'm going to reverse engineer it for you, and it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks when I let this word out for you right now. You looking at me, you listening, hear it. So someone's waiting for you to live their life so you can live theirs. We get it. We've heard it so much that it doesn't even affect us anymore. It doesn't push us anymore. But what if I said this to you? That when you don't live out in your calling, there are some people that could die because you haven't done what you're supposed to do. Because if you can admit that the persons that have come to you that have said to you that your word literally saved me, like your word has unlocked something in me, your word has helped me. If you can understand that perspective and you're not living in the full potential of yourself, you can also understand that there's some people that's missed your word. Put a 7 in the chat if you can feel that. There are some people that's missed your word because you didn't speak up when you were supposed to. You didn't hit your full potential. And so if you continue to do that, there are people on the back of your lack of obedience that will die because you haven't done what it is that you say that you're going to do. Yeah, she's come with it heavy today, guys. I'm not playing with you. I told you it's no nonsense November. There are people that are waiting to live based on your obedience to fulfill the mission and the calling over your life. You still gonna play small now. You still gonna mess about with the purpose over your life. You still gonna mess about and have poor habits. Because now you don't associate not posting with someone's life. You're like, oh, it's just a post, I'll do it tomorrow. How about you associate that with someone's life? Oh yeah, I won't go to that event because I don't have the time. I don't have the money. No, someone's life is at stake. You need to meet someone there. You need to speak to somebody. There's going to be one person. How many of you have ever been to an event and the event was okay. You didn't really speak to much people, but you spoke to that one person and you know it made a difference. Oh, but you don't want to put yourself in the environment. You don't want to come out your comfort zone because your habit tells you that, oh, I'll just stay at home. I'll go to the next one. What next one? Someone's life is at stake. What next one? Your habit is telling you, oh no, I'm busy. I can't do that. No. Somebody's life is at stake based on your obedience. Do you know obedience is better than sacrifice? You ever heard that one? Obedience is better than sacrifice. Nikki, what are you talking about? There is going to be a time where you are going to have to, you're going to have to be obedient. And that obedience sometimes can feel a little bit hard. It can feel a little bit out of your normal routine. It can feel like it's outside of your normal habits. But if you fail to break those bad habits, you fail to form these habits that's going to allow you to be obedient to who it is that you've been called to be, there will be a sacrifice. And I said this to the ladies at the retreat, and I want to tell you guys this, and we all know the story. We all know the story of Abraham and Sarah. We know the story. Abraham, God said to him, move, go over there, and you are going to be the father of many nations. In other words, I tell you, Jen, if you pack up from your house and you come up here and live in St. Leonards-on-Sea, and you are going to be a multi-millionaire. And you're like, okay, I don't understand why, but I'm just going to be obedient and I'm going to do it. And so Abraham packs up and he does exactly what the instruction has been said to him. He packs up his whole family, him and his wife. And they pack up and they go to a new place. Some of you will catch that on the way home. Some of you, the new place is not physical, it's spiritual as well. And they go to a new place. And he says, okay, God, you told me to move. I'm waiting. Like, where's the kids? In our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, mighty God, there's no kids. What are you talking about? I mean, you've been in that season. You've been waiting. You're like, okay, I'm being obedient-ish. Where's it coming from? Where are these kids? And God says, look up in the sky, count the stars. That's how much blessing you're about to receive. You can't even count how many stars in the sky. That's how much you're going to have. And so Sarah now comes to him and says, babe, what do you think if we just help God out? Because it looked like God's struggling kind of thing. And she has this big old bad gal idea that maybe he should sleep with a maid. And she says, listen, sleep with a maid because God needs help. Yeah, God needs help. So now this is disobedient, okay? What's obedience? Obedience is just following the rules, okay? You're now disobedient. You're breaking the rules that God set for you. So you're now disobedient. So Sarah's now brought him out of the obedience line and put him to be disobedient, okay? So he's now broken the rules. And of course, Abraham being a man, no shade, man's like, yeah, cool. Let me run the thing, innit? Let me run the thing with the maid, the side gal, as we put it this day, and let me get the side gal pregnant. And so now you have a situation where the side girl and the wife are living all in under the one roof with Abraham, and the side girl gets pregnant. So lo and behold, now here comes Ishmael, the side girl, the baby mother and the wife, all in one yard. Do you understand that that decision that Abraham made caused sacrifices in his house? Because now the side girl, baby mother, thinks she's a bad girl, walking around the house looking all like she's a top girl. And then you have the wife like, hold up now. Who does girl think she is? Like, who does she think she is? The wife is getting vexed now. No, but it was your idea, sis. Like, how many of you know, we listened to the song at the beginning, Deliver Me From Myself. It was your words. You said it. You're the one that opened your mouth and told your husband to go with the side gal. And now you see that your lack of obedience has meant that you now got to sacrifice your own humility. You're now in a situation where you're like, hold up, now this ain't what I signed up for. Oh no, because you thought you could take the shortcut and you thought it was all going to be all dandy. You thought it was all going to be cool when you took the shortcut. You thought if you didn't wait on the promise because you didn't want to be patient, everything was going to be all right. And so now Sarah's in an uncomfortable situation because she didn't anticipate her disobedience bringing forward other things. Guys, do you understand that your disobedience, you think you're taking a shortcut, you think you're just chilling. Your disobedience is linked to sacrifices later on down in life. Your disobedience is linked to sacrifices of so many things, but you think it's the easy route. You think, oh yeah, I'm doing it for an easy life. No, it's not easy life. You're making your life harder, because guess what happens after that, guys? Ishmael's born, baby mother's there, and guess what? Sarah now gets pregnant in her 70s. She's now pregnant. So now Abraham's in the yard, two baby mothers, two picnics. Now, if we bring it down to this day and age, we're the married people on the call. Can you imagine your husband brings it? Can I imagine Anton bringing in the side gal with their picnic, and I'm here with the picnics, and he's there with these picnics, and now there's a bag of picnics and baby mothers in the house. Yo, it's turmoil. It's crazy. And so now Sarah's like, nah, this chick has to go. Like, the chick and the kid, they got to go. And so now Abraham has to make a choice. He goes to God, and God's like, yeah, your wife is right. You should have just waited on me in the first place. Why did you have to take the shortcut? Because guess what? The shortcut now is going to cause you pain, because now he's got to lose his son. He's sent his son away. And by the way, on a donkey with £5. So the shortcuts that you take is actually going to delay you in the long run, and it's going to cause you to make a sacrifice. I'll put some sevens in the chat if you guys understand. So number one is get into your devotional. Like, you gotta get yourself into a mindset in the morning. Number two is prayer. How many of you actually have a schedule for prayer? How many of you take time out to pray? Is that even factored in your day? Is it something that is a habit? You see, prayer is your way of really connecting with your Heavenly Father. Now, some people use prayer as a checklist of asking for stuff. But you can actually use prayer for different things. You know, I fight things in the spiritual. I do not fight them physically. And some of you may not get that just yet, but one day I pray that you understand this. If there is something that you don't like in your life, if there is a habit that needs to be broken, if there is sin that's going on in your life, and this is another thing sometimes, when we don't feel like we're worthy, we do things because we don't feel like we're good enough anyway. Have you ever, spent money that you shouldn't be spending? You're like, I'm already in debt anyway, so what's an extra 50 quid? Like, or, you feel like you're not good enough, so you hang around certain people that, like, there was a time when I knew that this particular person was never going to marry me, but I kept linking him anyway. I kept being around him anyway, but I knew he would never value me to the level that deep down in the bottom of my heart, I really did want to be a wife, but I couldn't dare admit it because I didn't think anyone would wifey me. And there were things I had to go to God in the spirit. Before I met Anton, I was like, Lord, over to you. Allow me to be the person that I need to be so that I could be treated like a wife. I came to the acceptance that it wasn't them, it was me. I was allowing people to treat me in a way that was not in reverence to how God sees me, a queen. And I had to take it spiritually. I couldn't do it physically. I couldn't walk around and go, I'm a queen, I'm a queen. No, I had to believe it in myself. And the only way that was through prayer, was through deep prayer and saying, God, deliver me. Bring me to a place where I love myself enough to say no to this habit of allowing people to treat me in a way that is below the way you see me, God. I am a wife. I'm not a side piece. I'm not a side chick. I'm not somebody you can pick up and drop anytime you like. I am a woman that deserves to be a wife. And Lord, I want you to keep reminding me, show me how to behave. And you know, one of the things he said, it was, give me the Proverbs 31 woman book. And I began to learn how I'm going to respect myself, respect my body. I stopped swearing as well. Certain little habits that I had were indicators that to allow people to treat me. If you swear, you know, you're telling people that they can swear at you too, right? If you're somebody that the way that you treat yourself and the way that you treat your environment and how you speak is how you teach other people to treat you. And so prayer is what helped me to break that, right? Prayer. The third thing is fasting, guys. Ain't nothing sweeter than fasting. When you fast and you say to yourself, hey, what? I'm going to sacrifice some food today. I'm going to get some spiritual clarity. And these times I'm going to pray. I'm going to be intentional about it, right? I'm going to be intentional about it. I'm going to pray. I'm going to fast. And I'm going to get myself in a position where I can be closer to God and say, here, what? Yeah, boom. Right? Fasting is something that when you fast, it really helps you to focus on I'd say self-denial, where you're dying to your flesh. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but sometimes we allow the flesh to win. And when we allow the flesh to win, that forms bad habits. I don't know why I keep going on to this whole linking man thing. I don't know. Somebody on here might need to hear it, but it's just on me, guys. And I've shared this testimony before about, you know, no sex before marriage in this, you know, day and age. And people are like, no, Nikki, you can't do it. It's not liable. We need to try before we buy, and all this kind of crazy stuff. And I don't know how to tell you this, guys. But even in 2023, you can still meet somebody, connect with them without giving them your body. It is possible. When I met Anton, it was the first thing I said to him. I made my standard very, very clear. And I made sure there was something that I was not going to compromise on. And fasting is something, if you learn to die to your flesh, if you learn to put your flesh under subjection, if you understand that it's a discipline, if you can discipline yourself, then guess what? You can form habits. Listen, there's something about when you fast that you can't get from prayer. It's a different discipline. When you're fasting, you're dying to your flesh. And it's mind, you know how that saying, mind over matter. You're telling yourself that I can do this. It's a discipline, and it creates a different level of mindset. You know, it really reminds us that God can also sustain us, that man don't sustain us, that you know, the earthly and the worldly things don't sustain us, but actually God can sustain. If you're somebody on this call, and again, I don't know why Holy Spirit leading me here, there's someone on this call when you're fighting with the flesh. There's something sexual that is there, and you can't get rid of it. And no matter how much you push yourself and you say, okay, I'm done, and you keep going back and you keep going back. If you're on this call right now, I don't want you to say me in the chat or nothing. I just want you to go on a fast. Tell yourself, I'm going to die to the flesh. You have to kill this spiritually. 7 days of fasting and prayer. Die to your flesh. And tell yourself that you're going to break this yoke. Really be intentional about it. These are strategies, guys. They're not just things that you do any and anyhow. The same way you have a business strategy, this is a strategy. And you can really incorporate this into your life. I couldn't understand my grandma when she used to say to me, I'm fasting. I'm like, again? I swear I spoke to you like last week. You're fun. And she built it into her, like she always has it in her routine where she just takes, even if it's a day or so, and she fasts during, the week, because she wants to, she's always making sure that she, tells herself that God can sustain her. It's a discipline that I want to encourage you guys to really do. And of course, there's some benefits to fasting as well. The physical benefit. Yeah, you can shed some pounds as well. The fourth discipline that I want to talk to you about is simplicity. Okay, this is something spiritual that can also work outward as well, but I want you to think inward about it. Simplicity is about being in the physical, you have not overthinking, okay, not overcomplicating matters, to get things done in a simple form. But spiritually, this is about looking inwards and keeping honest. Looking inwards and being honest with yourself. Looking inwards and seeking real righteousness, understanding that God is our creator, and that anything that we can put our mind to when it comes to forming those good habits, he can allow us to do it. Keeping it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Sometimes we overcomplicate things, right? Really looking inwards, trusting God and saying to God, you know what? If this habit is not doing me well, I need you to help me to make it as simple as possible to break this thing down. And asking God to show you in a simple way. Most of the reasons why things don't get done or we form these habits is because it's easier. So how about we make it easy, simpler? So if you're somebody that's struggling with drinking water, you know how you can make it simpler? Stop buying other drinks and only have water in the house. So when you're thirsty, that's the only thing you can drink. Put the bottle of water by your desk or by your bed. Have one of those measuring, they've got those bottles now that says drink halfway, full way. Every day you set yourself. There's ways that you can form habits and you can make them simpler for yourself. Don't make things hard. When people set goals, sometimes like, yeah, I got 10 goals. I want to make 100 calls a day. I'm like, why would you make it so hard for yourself? Like, you set yourself up for failure. How long are you going to be able to make 100 calls a day? Like, I don't even make 100 calls a day. What are we talking about here? So make it simple for yourself. Ask God to really help you, to really be honest and straightforward with yourself. Simplicity is a mindset. Say, why is this overcomplicated? Who was it that says, a really rich person can make something that's really complex as simple as possible? Can you make it so simple for yourself that it's hard to even break? Number 5 is solitude. Now, solitude is important. And I learned this when my baby father left me. I felt like I couldn't live without a man. Sometimes, when I used to drive to London when I first, came from here. And I realized that all the time I had to call someone. Like, why am I always on the phone? Like, I can't be by myself. Like, I'm ringing someone on the way there. So I'm on the phone constantly around people. And that's good. But you also need time for yourself. Solitude. Is even Jesus went to the mountain and just took his time. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, when do you have your you time so you can get away from distractions, the noise, and really just draw close to God and listen to him, hear him, to help you. These habits are going to help you to hear from him so you can form these good habits for yourself. So you can get away from the distractions and have intimate times with your creator to really pray. That solitude moment, okay? Sometimes in your solitude, you may meditate, you may do yoga, you may do stuff, but can you get to a place where you love the skin that you're in? A lot of the time, some of the habits that we form with other people is because of a spiritual blockage of being fearful of being by ourselves. Who's ever felt like that? Scared of being alone, scared that nobody wants me, scared that I'm going to be isolated, scared that no one sees me, scared that I don't know who I am, scared that no one understands the gift on the inside of me, scared that one day I won't get to the place where I really want to be. But when you get to a place where you love the skin that you're in, that you can really be in a place of solitude, even if it's an hour a week, it's a confidence in you. Do you know reverse psychology? The moment I didn't care if I was by myself, that's when my husband found me. Because there is a confidence, there's an energy that you let off when you are confident, when you are whole. And my prayer is that you can pray and ask God to help you to understand being whole. That whole thing about someone's my other half. No, You're a whole person and they're a whole person. And the two of you become one, but you are one whole of a whole, right? You're not half. Because that means that you're dependent on that person to fool you and to fill you. No, pray to become whole, that you genuinely are happy with yourself. And watch what begins to happen. The last one is worship. And worship for me is a big one. Spending time worshiping. You know, on the retreat, we did a whole session. It was supposed to be an hour, and it ended up being like 2.5, 3 hours worth of worship. And there's something that unlocks when you just sit and you worship. Worship is different from prayer. Prayer is where you're talking to God. You're like, you're asking for stuff. You're doing a lot of chatting. But worship is where you're hearing from him. You're just saying thank you. You're just literally saying thank you. You've got your worship music on and you are just honoring. You're worshiping. You're just giving thanks. And there's a download that happens in that time of worship where bad habits can be broken and good ones can be formed. Guys, I'm telling you the spiritual side to success. People underestimate this. I kid you not. If you can find a way where you begin to worship in your routine, you find a way where you begin. I missed the number 6. I jumped straight to number 7. Number 6 was service. Okay, servicing yourself, servicing others, being able to show humility to pour on that knowledge onto others. There's something about, mastering yourself so that you can then pour it out to others. That was number 6, right? You had solitude, being, by yourself, spending time with God, simplicity, keeping things simple, fasting, prayer, and of course, making sure that we spend time devotion. If you can put these things in place, I promise you guys, the physical stuff will work themselves out because you will get the download in the spirit. I want to set us some homework today, guys, and I want us to work on our spiritual routine this week. I want to hear your testimonies when you were able to spend some time praying. Hear God talk to you when you were, who's going on a fast. Maybe you're going to go on a fast for a specific reason. I want to hear some testimonies of those of you that put the cake down, or those of you that were able to do, a walk every day and incorporate that. But the bad habits that you have, guys, if you accept them, they will carry on. Whatever you tolerate will appreciate. I'm saying that right now. If you continue to allow the bad habits to rule your life, they will block the next level for you. In order for you to have no nonsense happening going forward into 2024, 2025, 2026, you've got to break those bad habits, guys. And so what I want to do next week is I want us to come and I want to hear what you've learned from, the book so far. I want to make sure that everyone has the book, Atomic Habits, okay, by James Clear. Fantastic, phenomenal book around forming the right habits, breaking the bad habits, and getting ourselves into a place, where we are really happy with the decisions that we're making from a conscious level, and utilizing those strategies from a spiritual level to help us when it comes to, the physical results. So guys, I'm super, super excited, to hear the testimonies next week. Of course, some of you I'm going to be seeing on Saturday at the event. If you haven't bought your tickets yet, I don't know why. Who's got their dresses? You guys got your dresses yet? I had to put mine on to make sure it fits still. I can't wait to see you all. It's going to be a celebration. Guys, let me tell you what's going to happen. It's not a hype. It's not a hype. It is a chance where we can literally break bread together. I've got a DJ. We're going to be, we're going to be in the room. We're going to be dancing. We're going to have fun. We're going to have dinner. It will run on time. And then we're going to dance and have some fun. And just a little, a few celebrations and stuff like that. It is not a big hype, guys. It's just my way of saying thank you to you all for supporting the rebuild, being a part of it, encouraging me to live in my purpose. You guys hold me accountable to form good habits as well, because you guys show up every day, and inside the community and stuff like that. So there's no selling, no business talk. We've had a whole year of really strategizing for business and stuff like that. It's not going to be a night of business, guys. It's going to be a night of real fun, relaxation. You get to network with some of my best friends and some people that have really helped support me in the rebuild. And also it's a way of me celebrating you guys. That's why it's so cheap. It's 30 quid. right? It's not a big thing. It's just to make sure that you can get some food. There'll be a bar there available if you want to buy drinks and stuff as well. But it's really, really just an intimate time with me and some of my real cool friends to be able to just chill and just celebrate and also get ready for the year ahead. I do have a few special announcements to make as well about some of the things we have coming for the rebuild, which you guys are going to be really, really excited about. But I'm mega excited to see some of you guys on Saturday. If you haven't got your ticket, it's therebuild.co.uk, and you can just go into the shop and you'll be able to see the ticket on there. I will see you guys. I'll see you, Jenny, Donna. I'll see you guys on Saturday. And we are going to definitely, we're going to have some fun. It's not a night, for me, it's not even a night of content. Normally everything's content. I just want to chill with you guys. I just want to really have good conversations. I just really want to make sure, I'll see you as well, Danielle. I just want to make sure that I can touch you in the flesh, those of you that are here, and just have some really, really good conversations and party. We work hard and we also want to play hard as well. And I've got a phenomenal DJ that's going to be putting them tunes down as well. But if you're coming for dinner, please make sure you're there on time. My husband is preparing our meal, so I'm happy about that. We are going to get some good food as well. Okay. So with that being said, guys, good night. God bless you. Absolutely love you all. I'm going to put that track on one more time so we can just remember it before we come off the call, so we can put our best foot forward first. And not hurt ourselves. Let's make sure we're forming these habits, and we're not blaming anybody. We're taking accountability for the habits that we form, and we're going to be forming some amazing atomic habits that's going to help us, fulfill the purpose over our life. So with that being said, guys,